Hola chicos, ahora empezamos con el capítulo 4. ¿Pueden creerlo? Después de capítulo 4, solamente tenemos 2 capítulos más en la clase. So we are halfway through the chapters that we are doing for this class. We do 6 chapters in S100. You have done 1 through 3. After this chapter, after capítulo 4, we are 2/3 of the way done with the materials for this class. And you guys are doing great. I am really pleased. I can see improvements in my Spanish lab when reading through your composition forum posts. I'm really pleased with how you are progressing. And I also find that I'm getting fewer and fewer questions about basics in this course, which I really hope means that you're starting to really grasp the material and being able to move forward with it. So, like I said, at the end of this chapter, you're 2/3 of the way done with the class. You will have your second exam at the end of this chapter. The second exam will cover materials from capítulo 3 y capítulo 4, just like the first one was over chapters 1 and 2. I'm sure you'll be fully prepared. You have all of those short recorded lectures I've posted and the PowerPoints. You have a lot of PowerPoints and grammar tutorials and exercises in my Spanish lab. But the point of that is that if you have done all of that work and gone through all of these materials, you shouldn't need a lot of extra study time for the exam. Especially if you've really been doing the audio exercises and the video exercises in my Spanish lab, this should really help to prepare you for where you need to be with Examen 2, okay? But first you have to get through the materials for capítulo 4, because before you take an exam, you want to make sure that you've done all of the work from the chapters so you're not missing anything that might be on the exam. Okay, so, capítulo 4. En capítulo 4 hablamos de miembros de la familia y hablamos del ocio. Okay? So family members, talking about our family, talking about free time and leisure time is the vocabulary. Now you've already had an introduction to this because your composition post for capítulo 3 was a looking forward to the vocabulary in this chapter. So you should feel comfortable already with some of this vocabulary and be ready to just surge forward and get through it, right? So this shouldn't be so bad. You've also, if you've gone through my short recorded lectures with the PowerPoints that I had posted with capítulo 3, you've already been introduced to grammar concepts from capítulo 4. So hopefully this will be a lot of reinforcing of concepts and helping you to go further with them. So grammar-wise, we're talking about direct objects, right? And when to use the a personal with a direct object. So if you have a direct object that's a person, you need to have the a before it. You're going to be learning the direct object pronouns. So how do we replace direct objects with a pronoun so you don't have so much redundancy in the way that you're talking or writing? Don't keep repeating those objects over and over again. And then also we'll be talking about demonstrative adjectives and pronouns. How we talk about things in relation to distance. So for example, you could say something like, I really like this pencil, but I prefer that pencil, and I really would love to have that pencil way over there. And we have certain words that we use to express those relations of space and distance in Spanish. Verbos, so verbs, we'll be doing the present tense of stem changing verbs. So these are verbs that are irregular, that change the stem of the verb, the part that you keep, before dropping the AR, ER, or IR, but only in what we call the boot. So it does not change in the nosotros or vosotros form, but the stem changes in all of the other forms. We'll also be looking at the present tense of some other irregular verbs. We have poner, salir, traer, saber, y conocer. In Cultura, we'll be talking about América Central, un parte de América Central. So part of Central America will be the coverage in the culture unit, and that will be the countries of Guatemala, El Salvador, y Honduras. Okay, so that's the culture section. Work-wise, the same. Make sure you go through every part of the module. All right, listen to the music, watch the videos, listen to the Michel Thomas Disc 5, make flashcards, practice along. The more you do those exercises, the easier the listening and the oral parts will become for you. And I know that's what some of you are saying is the hardest part, is understanding and really getting the Spanish. So if you do all those things, it will really help. Of course, you have Capítulo 4, reading the e-text, listening to the audio exercises, reviewing PowerPoints, and then doing your My Spanish Lab homework. Composición post is La casa de mis sueños, the house of my dreams. So you should describe it, donde está, cómo parece, right? Where is it? What does it look like? You can include a picture if you want. That can be fun to include a picture of a house of your dreams. One thing to be careful of, and this is something I find is a very common mistake that students make. If you want a house in the country, don't just look up the word country and plug it in there, okay? Because if you put in un casa en el país, okay, país is country meaning nation. They have a different word for countryside, which is what you would mean. So it would be un casa en el campo, in the countryside. So just be careful of that when you're looking up words and using new vocabulary. So you would have to do your composición post and respond also to the posts of 2 students. The film this time is Diarios en Motocicleta, Motorcycle Diaries. You are to watch the Spanish version, and it is only in Spanish. So this is your first introduction to a full Spanish film. Now, are you going to get all of it? No, you're not. Even people who have studied Spanish for years don't always pick up everything in films. But you should be able to get the gist of the story, and what you're going to be looking for is differences between different Hispanic communities or societies. And that you will be able to see in the film, even if you don't get all the vocabulary, right? Even if you don't follow all of the conversation. Of course, you have your SI attendance, so you either have to attend at least 1 SI session or do the module and take the quiz. Keep going with your conversation hours. If you're doing the Duolingo extra credit, keep going with it. That is going to help you tremendously. Even if you're not getting up to the point that it's suggested you need to be, if you're working in Duolingo, submit your screenshots, because you can at least get a point for keeping working in it. You won't get the full points, but you can get a point. Okay, so you should also be working on your group projects, your country city projects. And I know there have been some requests, it wasn't made to me, but made in SI, to get examples of these wiki projects. And I'm working on getting that for you. The only thing I'm going to tell you is that these change a little bit from semester to semester and year to year. The reason it's a country and a city project this year is because of the one book for this fall, which is For the Love of Cities, so, and focusing on particular cities. So past projects that have been done have been particular country studies. We've added to it this time to have an emphasis on a city. So when I do get that posted and give you an idea of that, just be aware that it's not exactly what you need to be doing, but it can give you an idea of where you need to be. Okay, so after you've finished all of the work for Capítulo 4, you have to make sure you take Examen 2, your second exam, right? If any questions come up, you know how to find me, you know how to get in touch with Lindsay, you know how to get in touch with Sarah. So please utilize us as resources, and let's have fun, okay? Adios.